Hello and welcome to all. I, Dr. Asawari Sawant, Senior Sub-Editor from Elets Technomedia, welcome you all to another interesting Elets Innovation Talk, wherein we have industry leaders from all across different verticals to discuss on pertinent topics concerning the B2B industry. So, for today's episode, we have a very eminent speaker here with us. We have Dr. Chinmay Hegde, who is co founder, CEO, and managing director of Astrikos.ai. So, Dr. Hegde, thank you so much for joining us. It is a pleasure to be interacting with you on this discussion.
Thank you, Dr. Asawari. Thanks for having me here. Glad to, associate and exchange thoughts.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hegde. So, as you are aware, our audience belongs to the B2B industry space. So, either they are, budding entrepreneurs or are active leaders in their own fields. So, for their better understanding, can you please share a little bit about your organization, Astrikos.ai, the amazing, brilliant work that you guys are doing over there, as well as about your, journey into this space in a little brief?
Thank you. Thanks again. And Astrikos.ai is an enterprise artificial intelligence platform dealing with the data of disparate silos and plugging in the data fragmentation and bringing a common ground for different infrastructural systems. When I say about infrastructural systems, it could be as small as of the scale of a building, or it could be a city, it could be a data center, or it could be any kind of such kind of urban infrastructures. That is the primary area. It could be even factories also, right? So where the platform talks to the respective silo systems who operate in these infrastructures in their own language, collects the data, connects to them, collects the data, and then analyzes that with the power of a machine learning and the artificial intelligence technologies, and then gives the insights and advisories to how to operate. And it gives a kind of a hand-holding, acting like an in-house subject matter expert for any infrastructure administration. That's about Astrikos.ai platform.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much for sharing. That is some amazing things that you are doing, much needed things that you're doing in this space. So we got to know that recently Astrikos.ai has tied up with the UP government to implement the world's largest next generation emergency response system, that is UP 112. So can you please talk a little bit about on that, and also explain to our audience your journey with this aspect, any kind of challenges that you feel, and the benefits of this platform?
Absolutely. So as you already know that we have collaborated with the UP government and also one of the Government of India entity who has been the master principal for this particular project, Bharat Electronics also, right? So where this ERSS, Emergency Response Support System, is the next generation definition of the unified emergency management under a single dial number 112, where multiple types of emergencies are handled at a aggregated, centralized manner. Maybe it is a crime incident, maybe it is any kind of a fire incident, or it could be any simple incidents where there may be a cattle which is stuck, right, in some kind of a drains, or any such kind of emergencies that hinders the day-to-day life of the citizens, where the imperative of this entire such operation is there are many systems. There is one side, there is the emergency calls received from the citizens. Another side, the dispatch management of the response also has to happen, and at the same time it is totally geographically hyper local and geo enriched the data, because ultimately you need to cater to the respective zone of catastrophe, zone of incident. And in order to do that, the response mechanism and the response fleet, right? So you might have read in the news that UP government introduced in the second phase of UP 112 6,000 or 7,000 number of emergency response vehicles or a police response vehicles, which they call it as, right? So same way the fleet management and all such kind of different disparate systems which work in their own silos. The role of the centralized intelligence is to establish a collaboration across all these platforms, various different silo systems. That is where exactly our platform came into the picture, providing the data intelligence, business intelligence, and the first and foremost key performance indicator for emergency response support system is how can the response time be optimized further, right? Today should be better than yesterday, tomorrow should be better than today, right? So that is the forward looking response optimization is most important. So this is the major imperative or major takeaway or the outcome which was delivered from our platform, where our platform talks to 6 or 7 different types of systems which are there and gives the collaborative intelligence across the board, being the center of the focal point for all these systems, and then optimizing the response time, catering the citizens better. So this was the major goal of the platform, which is already live.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing, and congratulations to the entire team and you, as this platform is readily being adopted by the UP government, and we've heard so much about this as well. So congratulations once again.
Thank you.
Another thing that we are very curious about is the scalability of this project. So as UP government is adopting it, do you have plans, or does Astrikos AI has plans of translating this technology to other states in the country as well? And if so, can you please share if anything is coming up?
Of course, wherever the opportunity persists, because we are in the job of making an impact on the public life, right? And improvising day by day. We taking the cue out of UP government, which is the Uttar Pradesh ERSS or UP 112 is the largest on the face of the earth, because it's catering day to day to 27 crore number of people, right? So which is, you won't find, it's a state of the size of a country, which typically, I keep telling my team members or the other customers also, right? So we taking the cue out of it, we have already gotten into the Middle Eastern countries where some of the, the ministries of interiors are talking to us for their, infrastructure improvement based on such kind of things. And also we're going to showcase this soon in the Europe, right, in the month of November, with all these takeaways, because we want to tell this story of a success in India to the world, right? So we proudly always state that the technology that is built, Astrikos AI, is the technology that is built in India for the world, right? So that is where we want to live these words, right? So I'll take it forward to the entire globe and also be the flag bearers in this, because intelligence is the new thing, right? And also bringing in a collaborative intelligence in terms of the acute infrastructural cases is completely a new thing.
Definitely, sir. So we are so proud to be hearing about this. And I'm very sure, as you rightly said, UP is larger than the size of many countries that are there all around the world as well. So hopefully
Yes.
you will not be having that much of a trouble translating the software for those countries. But coming back to the topic, we have also heard that Astrikos AI has contributed greatly for smart cities, across different cities in the country. So, can you please talk a little bit about that, and what kind of optimization does smart city entail, and what kind of contributions has the organization provided?
Yes. So yes, of course, Astrikos AI has been involved in as many as 5 smart cities in India, and another 4 or 5 smart cities, in the Middle East and the ASEAN countries. So the smart cities use case is slightly bigger than ERSS, because ERSS, which is UP 112 kind of a thing, which becomes the subsystem in the context of smart cities. And especially as all of us probably know, each smart cities infrastructure management is driven centrally in the form of integrated command and control centers. In India, there are more than 60 or 70 integrated command control centers, aka ICCCs, are implemented. Each city has, the centralized aggregation done at a city integrated command and control center, the platform that works. But the lacuna out there in these platforms has been, or the white spaces, let us say about white spaces. Let me not call it as a lacuna. Maybe it is a lacuna, but let me call it as a white space. Is all these ICCCs are typically reactive in nature, right? So they are aggregating water, power, safety, security, surveillance, or environmental sensing, and all these systems together, right, in under a single roof and under a single platform. However, though they have the accessibility to the data in a centralized manner, they don't, operationalize the entire operation, in a proactive manner. It all happens in a reactive manner. A failure has to occur, only then a particular work item or a workflow has to be generated, and then it has to be mobilized from there. However, Astrikos.ai is in the area of completely changing this behavior from reactive operations or reactive actioning to the proactive operations, such as the platform assists by forecasting the futuristic issues or catastrophes or any downtimes or any breakdowns, and then it uses the artificial intelligence technique to create the advisories or prescribe the advisories, like the way how doctors do, right? So the prescribe the advisories in order to take an action before any kind of issue that could occur in the infrastructure. So the value proposition is, enormous, and same thing is for smart cities and also for the, the largest townships or the campuses or any such kind of infrastructures. So that is the value proposition, and that is the behavioral change that we intend to bring in operations.
Thank you so much, sir. Definitely, that is some amazing work that you are doing. And moving on to proactiveness, that is very much required now going forward. So, amazing work again. Another big aspect when we're talking about city or smart cities in general is transportation optimization and mobility optimization. So that has been some of the big challenges that Indian cities has faced, including UP, as some cities of UP such as Kanpur, Gorakhpur are notoriously famous for having a very difficult traffic and transportation, etc. So can you please talk about how Astrikos can help and contribute to smart city development and also contribute to transportation optimization?
Absolutely. So typically what we call, first and foremost, I want to go back to the basics in this answering this particular question is, you might have heard of this terminology famously in the IT industry as PPT. I'm not talking about PowerPoint. I'm talking about people, process, and technology, right? So people, process, and technology all have to go hand in hand, right? That is the, the necessity, or that is the essential. Example, we may bring in technology, but at the same time, processes have to match them, or technology has to adopt the process. That is the important aspect. And people who are involved, because see, all of this, whom are we doing it for? We are doing it for the people, right? People have to fall in line with their respective civic sense, because public infrastructure thrives only based on the civic sense. All of us have to maintain it well, and all of us have to cooperate the authorities to maintain it well, right? So this maybe I would state this as a disclaimer or the preamble, and then move further. The technologically, the every city nowadays, maybe it is a tier 1, it has moved to the tier 2 cities of India, right? You said about Gorakhpur, or you said about Kanpur, right? Or any such kind of a cities have started implementing the traffic management solutions such as adaptive traffic control or adaptive traffic management. So is that sufficient? Not necessarily it is sufficient, because on top of that, there is a necessity of an intelligence layer, right? So the intelligence layer, which will actually, see, the thing is that implementing traffic regulation solutions or the technologies is focusing only on, the creating the red corridors, right? See, mobility, we call it as mobility. Why do we call it as mobility? The meaning of the word mobility is keep the movement up and running, right? But all the traffic solutions are focusing on introducing or inducing more and more red signals, right? We are looking to stop the traffic. We have to get out of this contradiction, first of all. So in order to do this, the data intelligence can help a lot in building green waves, green corridors, or keep the traffic flowing. So this is possible by collecting the data that is collected by the traffic sensors or the radars or the cameras. Put that in a collaborative way. Again, I come back to the same terminology of collaborative intelligence, right? So this is going to be the important aspect, because unless and until we plug the loophole of the collaboration, urban management cannot be done seamlessly. May it be mobility management or any other type of urban management, because there are different departments working on the ground.
Very true.
There are different, type of technologies implemented on the ground. So plugging this particular gap is possible by bringing in collaborative intelligence, such as identifying the congestions, predicting the congestions of the routes, and also each route, if it is congested, definitely it is because of not the entire route is congested. Maximum of the cases, or 90% of the cases, it is because of there is one or two choke points on that particular route, which is the reason or the root cause for congestion of the entire route. So identifying and pinpointing such pain areas is only possible with the data intelligence, which is powered by historical study or the behavioral study. So it is not just only to detect the issues and events based on that rules triggering, rather than look at the entire behavior, act like an intelligence, entity. That's how the entire intelligence works. You need to study the patterns historically so that you will be able to predict the future. So bringing in this kind of collaborative intelligence, the technologies, the artificial intelligence on top of that to generate the advices. See, information analysis or information is as good as useless if we do not take action based on the information that is gathered, right? So the system should be capable of inducing the actions, give the meaningful advisories. Accuracy is the key. Up to what action? We cannot predict. A prediction cannot be 100% accurate, right? Prediction can be accurate with a kind of a margin of error, but strive for utmost accuracy, and then give the advisories for the urban administrators and help them in taking decisions quickly, and hence translate that value, percolate it down to the citizens, so that the better citizen delight is achieved.
Great, sir. Amazing. So I have a lot of follow-up questions for you, but I will ask you one two-part question for the same, which is on top of my mind. Is while you are talking about, identifying the pain points in that route and eliminating it for more better optimized transportation, etc. While you were working on this, system, what kind of difficulties arose that were pertinent to be solved uh, while devising this kind of integrated system? As you have mentioned that it is not only one department that you will be working with, it is different departments all across the board. Different kind of data were collected, fed into the artificial intelligence, then trained, through immense research, etc., that you did. So, what were the major pain points that you faced while devising this kind of, program? And also, where do you feel that human intervention is required, or is it
Absolutely.
all automated with AI right now, and is it self-sufficient? So how do you balance that? What do you do around that? We are very curious.
Great question. Great question. I appreciate it. In fact, thanks for asking this. Right. So the thing is, important is the relevance. Right. So technology has to be relevant to the processes and policies. Most of the technology builders forget or maybe disregard that the practical reality of being relevant to the policies and procedures as well as processes, right, is most important, because infrastructure or large infrastructures, especially public infrastructures, cannot be governed without the standard operating procedures. All these large infrastructures are governed by SOPs, standard operating procedures. So it is important to cut that relevance. And also, while implementing AI, it is important to note we have to build the sensible AI. When I say sensible AI, it is important to know where to stop the role of AI, where to call for human intelligence, right? And where to call for human interventions also. Right? So the most important aspect is, this is where, if the this particular problem can be tackled if the backbone of the technology builders is a set of subject matter experts. Our research or our innovation lab is powered by the research of subject matter experts, who are, many of them we have in-house. The subject matter experts are actually addressing one each respective infrastructural cases or infrastructural verticals. We have in-house water experts, in-house mobility and traffic experts, in-house law and order experts, right? And so on and so forth. It goes on. So they are the one who come up with, because who have experienced as users, also who have experienced as the policy advisors also. We have that pool of SMEs, subject matter experts who are available for our day-to-day disposal easily, because our in-house team. And second, another organizational culture that we have is, say, we don't only look at our engineers or the data scientists to only excel in only engineering and data science. Rather than that, first and foremost thing is to build the domain relevance culture. They need to know about the domain, right? They may be doing the coding, testing, or building the machine learning models day-to-day basis, but at the same time, first and foremost is they should know the domain. So this is, we have our internal measures to cater to that, because ultimately when we go and sit in front of the customers who are the large infrastructures like a public sector entities or anybody, we know that what are their pain points from the day one. When we start interacting with them, we are talking to them. It is important that we are talking to them relevant matters. right? So the lot of things we can push the technology through their throat, but at the same time, it will not work. It will not deliver results if it doesn't make any relevance. So that is the most important aspect. So gaining the domain knowledge and building the technology or the machine learning models or the data models more nearer to the practical reality. And practical reality, for your information, changes geography to geography, right? When we are working in a traffic scenario of a northeast state like Sikkim, the traffic challenge is because of the congestions on the road because of the landslides. But when I come to the city like Belagavi, Bangalore, or any such kind of cities, the congestion is because of the volume or the density of the vehicles, right? So the thing is, traffic or the mobility challenges exist, but it is mostly hyperlocal, right? So the understanding that difference needs, it only comes from the domain understanding, domain knowledge, or the use cases nearer to the reality. That is how we can tackle those challenges.
Definitely, sir. And it is amazing to know that you have in-house team of subject matter experts and domain, also have great measures to maintain the domain relevance. So that is great and very much necessary that most of the organizations foresee. They're not able to, bring subject matter experts into the field. Hence, there is a big gap between the technology and its uptake. So to cover up that, the thing that you are doing here is amazing. So
Thank you.
we have a few more questions for you. One of which is, as Astrikos AI is also actively into smart city infrastructure. So we would like to know more, because with the rapid urbanization and climate challenges, cities are facing pressure to adopt to climate resilient infrastructure, which will also be the future of infrastructure development in the country. So how does Astrikos AI's platform help cities to adapt to extreme weather events and ensure that infrastructure is robust enough to withstand such environmental stresses?
Absolutely, absolutely. So the sustainability is the key, definitely, and sustainability doesn't only mean that it is, carbon emission related. There are a lot of other factors other than just carbon neutrality or carbon control, right? So first and foremost is durability, right? So durability is the longevity of the infrastructure, because nobody builds the infrastructure for the consumption of a year or two. Any infrastructure which is laid out or built or constructed is minimum of 10 years till hundreds of years, right? So we still have so many bridges which were built 100 years ago, right? So that's the major thing to keep in mind. So next aspect is how it can be mostly natural and sustainable, and also how to bring in operational and management aspects of the infrastructure to be more and more sustainable. Is, the thing is, one is about, it starts from the design and build, yes, of course, but also continues to the operations and management of the infrastructure, where monitoring first and foremost is to do the housekeeping, that is monitoring what are all the climatic impacts that we do through our infrastructure. Example, we cool the building inside, right? The building cooling inside is emitting year over year 4% load onto the atmosphere of temperature and humidity. So this is a generic building cooling scenario. But when it comes to the data center scenario, it is 9%. Why? Because data center, which is the next generation infrastructure, right? The government of India also has given the status of infrastructure to data center last year budget, right? So the thing is, ultimately the power consumption is done will generate the temperature that loads onto the atmosphere. which is equivalent to the, what is it called, is CO2e, carbon dioxide equivalent emission. That's one factor. And there is another factor, which is greenhouse gases. That is from the pollutants such as PM, the SOx, NOx, and whatnot. And similarly, the particulate matters, right? Such as PM 2.5 and PM 10. So these are another set of pollutants. And similarly, there are, other impacts such as, the impact on the overall climate through the rains and wind speed, all these things. And we, being the platform, which is a centralized platform, we also look at a data that is coming from environmental sensor. Another set data that is coming from building cooling systems or data center cooling systems. Another set the data coming from the power management systems, right? Looking at, these are all the different dimensions, right? In a generic scenario, no subsystem talks to the other subsystem because all of them are in their own island. The platform, in our case, what the data models that address are, from the day one, they are built to look at this multidimensional aspect. There is a temperature increase, definitely there is an issue on the power quality. If there is an issue definitely on the power quality, the chillers of the building cooling may not work efficiently. Ultimately, they will result in some kind of water contamination. So it is not just only the gases, it's also water contamination levels, temperature load, humidity load, and greenhouse gases, pollutants levels. All these things have to be looked in a correlative manner. And this is the multidimensional matrix which has to be kept in mind, building any such kind of, data-oriented artificial intelligent technology. So that's how we address this.
Definitely, sir. Thank you so much for sharing. So many things that are going on behind the scenes that we can see that the Astrikos AI has been, keeping in mind. But personally, coming from a public health standpoint, as I'm a public health specialist for the team over here, is what value do you feel inclusivity of such systems play when we are making sure that these systems are not just for the physically fit able-bodied people, but also for the wider audience which may not fall into the physically fit category. For example, while my study in the UK, I have observed these minute changes, things in the everyday infrastructure, that wherever there are steps, there is also a ramp for the physically disabled,
Yes.
wheelchair using population. Whenever there is any set of hotel room, it is very specifically smoking or non-smoking to cater to both kind of audiences. So where do you see India, adopting these kind of systems, not just for the hospitals? For hospitals do have stairs and ramps, but
Absolutely.
general homes, buildings, complexes, office spaces, etc., that the washrooms that are there, in pretty much each and every building, whether it may be tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3 city, regardless, it has a male washroom, a female washroom, and a transgender washroom. So when do you see India adopting these? How soon? How far? Your personal opinions on the same?
Yeah, first and foremost, this is what you are talking about is accessibility to the diversity, right? See, India, I would say that we are a diverse country already, right? Maybe our infrastructures are not reflecting that. Infrastructures are going to reflect that soon, because ultimately it was, see, the thing is, the India's first and foremost challenge is, if you want to build anything, it is not that easy, because you are addressing the large amount of population, right? Unlike
Completely
any other
agree.
country, unlike any other country, right? So across the globe, our population and the scale is huge. Second is, we are a democracy, right? Because when I talk about scale, people will also talk about, okay, what about China? They have implemented. Yeah, they are not a democracy. We are a democracy, right? Democracy has its own hindrances, pros and cons both, right? In order to make a change, bring in a change, right? So it's not autocratic. So the
Completely
democratically we
agree.
have to adopt this. We have to adopt this democratically, and at the same time, the infrastructure. Example, nowadays, you look at the upcoming rail infrastructures or the road infrastructures, for example, right? Which is a kind of, the new innovation which is happening, which is it's built by day one, it is built accessible to every
Definitely. Yes.
diverse set of population, right? Accessibility to that. And also, it has been built in such a way that every kind of a facility is made next to it. Right. Same applies to the rail infrastructure, Vande Bharat or Namo Bharat kind of rails which are coming in, or metro trains which are coming in many of the cities. They have been made accessible. So the thing is, the change is already happening in terms of reflecting. India has been I would reiterate this particular point again and again, is India has been a diverse country because there is no other country on the face of the earth has so much of a diversity, right? In terms of type of the population, type of the linguistic diversity, type of the people, right? And also the geography overall, right?
The
So the
amount of the
infrastructure,
population. Yes.
yes, infrastructure had to reflect that, and it's happening because a lot of developments that are happening, right? And also, India is attracting a lot of people and lot of investments, lot of businesses. These changes will be part and participle of this particular development. And of course, it has started reflecting in rail, road, and the upcoming infrastructures, and it will continue as it is.
Definitely, sir. Very wisely said. And we do believe on the potential that India has. We've seen it during the COVID pandemic. We have achieved those kind of performance which were unbelievable, unimaginable when it
Yes,
comes to vaccine production or, the
absolutely.
entire healthcare infrastructure involving the same as well. So, yes. So, the very last question for you, although we would like this conversation to go on and on, but the last question for you is, how do you envision the future of AI in urban planning, and what role do you feel Astrikos AI will be playing in shaping a smarter, more livable city? Growing complexity of urbanization and infrastructure management aspects.
Absolutely. So I would want to start this answering this particular question with a particular footnote. That is, 90% of the world's data was created in last 2 years, right? After the AI's intervention, right? So AI started coming in, and India is also part of that. Enormous amount of data that is getting generated, and artificial intelligence has a role to play, definitely for a decade to 2 decades from now. And the artificial intelligence, when I say the definition of artificial intelligence is quite dynamic and it's changing over the period of time, right? AI was there as a subject about 60 years ago too, right? Artificial intelligence, and time to time it changed. If we would have had this conversation about the AI couple of years ago, we would have thought that okay, condition based monitoring, condition based triggering, all these things are, or rule matching, all these things would have been AI, but no longer those are AI. Those are actually the different kind of intelligence, but not artificial intelligence. Now the AI's definition is changing eventually, and also this will evolve as the time passes. Next year, when we talk again, probably the definition of AI should be again revised or redefined, right? So the AI is here to stay. But having said that, the human who create these AIs is more intelligent. AI, whatever it is the case, in my personal opinion, AI may not reach the human intelligence level because human created the AI at the end of the day. And also, the thing is, aspect of AI which has to be figured out is, or evolved over the period of upcoming years, is, ethic ethicalness in that, right? So the ethical AI, which you have heard of this particular terminology, that is the thing. Rather, the beginning for that is sensible AI. AI should mind its limit, and we, as the humans who build the technologies on AI, should mind where to stop the AI's intervention and where to bring in the role or the intervention of the human intelligence. Right. So if we keep this particular balance well, things will shape up beautifully in the upcoming years. And because India's, I would want to term it in this way, maybe it is appropriate or not, I don't know, but India's soft power is intelligence, India's soft power is knowledge, right? So we will be catering using this particular power to the globe.
Definitely, sir. You reiterated the words of our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi that he believes in the power of Indian intelligence, and the power of the technology that can be bought out by Indian intelligence as well. So, thank you so much for such amazing conversations. We delved into various different aspects all around technology, smart cities, smart infrastructure, artificial intelligence, and a lot more. We're so grateful for having Dr. Chinmay Hegde here with us today, who's the co-founder, CEO, and managing director of Astrikos.ai. To our audience, thank you so much for staying till the end. I hope you found this session very insightful. If you have any questions for our speaker today, please do feel free to let us know on the comments along with this video. We will come back to it. We will make sure that your queries are answered. If you have any further suggestions on the topics that we can cover, please feel free to let us know. So thank you so much, sir, for imparting wealth of knowledge with us today. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Asawari. Thanks for the opportunity. Thanks for having me here. And it is, my pleasure to answer to the intellectual questions that you posed, right? So I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. Thanks a lot.